let's talk some curriculum updates. We are about, I don't even know how many weeks in the school year, 8, 9, 10, I don't know, something like that. So I just figured it was a good time to give a curriculum update and share kind of what's working, what we have switched up or changed, and what we have had to kind of take a back seat for now / just not do at all. We were going to have like a gentle start to our school year. Normally we just start all of our subjects on the first day and then go from there. But this year I wanted to kind of change things up a little bit just because I wasn't sure how things were going to go with the baby and all of that. And so we just started with our group, our independent subjects, so language arts, math, and all of that fun stuff. And then a couple weeks later, I added in our morning time, which is like our Bible and things like that, science, and a couple weeks later, history a couple weeks later. So I liked doing that. I don't know if we'll do that forever, like every year going forward. I just play each year by year to see how it goes. And I think that's, that should be the norm, is to just take each year and go from there. But I really liked it. I thought it was helpful. It got us kind of into a routine. I will say we did take a trip at the end of September. So like 4 or 5 weeks into school. And so that it was fun, but it kind of threw things, I feel like it kind of threw our rhythm off a little bit. Like it wasn't anything earth shattering or terrible or anything like that, but it just made it a little bit trickier to get into. So if I were to take a trip in the school year again, I probably would wait a little bit more till we have like a little bit more of a solid system going. So we have had to kind of slow down quite a bit. We've been quite busy, and I shared that in my recent life in school update. So if you want to watch that, I will put it in the description so you can kind of see the reasons why. I'm not going to get into all that. I'm going to keep it pretty much strictly like curriculum. But we've had to slow down quite a bit, specifically for like my science resources and my history resources. I've shared that we're doing like literature-based science and history. And so I had shared a lot of different books that I had collected and things that I was excited to use. And I still am, but I kind of was with the thought that I kind of knew we probably wouldn't get to all of it, and that's okay. I just like to have them for future. We can use them. Like if we had gotten to them, great. If we can't, that's fine too. And so for history, I've had to kind of dial back a little bit, as well as for science. And I'm trying to just get to like the main points and main aspects that I want to get to. Example for history, we're using Beautiful Feet Books history, and that is literature based, and I love it. And there's extra books that you can use in rabbit trails, and I had written down kind of like which ones that I had wanted to go with ideally, but I've had to kind of pick and choose which ones to focus on. We can't really get to them all. Same with history, same with science, we're doing sunlight, and we're doing the good and the beautiful, and I'm having to slow sunlight down just a bit. Not that it's like too like overwhelming, it's just there's a lot of information with both the good and the beautiful and sunlight, and I have extra outside resources that I'm using, books extra that I want to add to. Just with all that, I'm just slowing it down. And so that's okay. If you have to slow things down, I don't know. I'd rather learn the information and talk about it than to feel rushed. And even still, sometimes I honestly, if I'm going to be honest with you, I still feel like we're kind of like trying to rush to get through it all, which I'm trying not to do. How is BJU going for my girls? Actually, all 3 of them are doing at least one thing with Bob Jones University. So my older 2, 4th and 6th grade, they are doing English and grammar by BJU. It's going really well. The grammar is good. It's just traditional grammar. I do have the teacher guides, and that in with the teacher guides, it has the lesson that you can kind of explain / the answer key if you need it. And so I haven't had to reference it too much. I mostly use it honestly for just getting the answer so I can quickly go through and grade it. They pretty much do the grammar part independently. If they need help, of course, I'm here and can explain things. And then for the writing part, I've actually combined them together. And since some of their writing assignments were overlapping, we just do writing together as a group, those 2 and me. And then I grade my 4th grader according to the rubric that was given for her, and my 6th grader a little bit, obviously she needs a little bit more detail and things like that. So I grade her according to her rubric, and I will do a video. I've said that, but I didn't want to do a BJU video until I was familiar with it and knew what we were doing. They're still only doing it 4 days a week. So I'll share how they're doing it 4 days a week and how I combine them. And that's the baby. So hold on 1 second. Okay, she's good and settled and taken care of. So I will share a BJU video all about that in the next little bit. So that way, like I said, I just want to make sure we were in our routine and good to go. And I had kind of a better grasp on it. I don't want to just share something that I have no idea what I'm talking about. Now, I did say that I was going to do the literature/reading program from BJU for my 4th and 6th grader. But I kind of scrapped that actually at the beginning of the year. The reason for that was not that I don't think it was well done or anything like that. It's just that I realized pretty quickly on, our days were pretty full. Even going and starting on time, our days were just packed. And so that I was kind of like, well, is there anything that we can that we don't need to absolutely do right now? And anything like that was kind of put towards for like a later time, or if we get back to it at all. And so that was one of those. So my girls really do love to read, and this was more of a formal literature, and I think that that is important. But right now they're still doing handwriting and typing and spelling, and they just have a lot of extra little subjects that they do that kind of all take up time, and so they all add up. But for now, what I want to do is a reading, just assigning them classic literature. So if you have any recommendations, put them down, let me know. I still have yet to do that, but I really want to, because they just gravitate towards like fantasy and unicorn this and spy girl that, and which is all great, but I kind of want something outside of their genre that they normally would choose, and then have them kind of summarize, give a informal book report, that type of thing, for literature. So what I replaced that with for literature for Larissa, my older daughter, I was like, kind of made a compromise, but if you don't do that, do you want to do logic? And so she really got excited about that. Logic definitely does not take near as much time as literature was going to do. It's only 2 days a week, and it's just something that me and her do together. We go through the course together, and it's called The Fallacy Detective. This has been, I really like this. Like, I think a lot of people should go and do these sort of nuanced subjects that aren't your typical. I mean, we go through this, and it's pretty difficult, not difficult, but it makes me think, and it sums me up sometimes, just with all the different fallacies and arguments there are. And when you see this and go through this, you're like, oh my goodness, you pick it up, like, especially like on when you see comments on like Instagram or YouTube, or, where people can like comment and go back and forth. You're just like, or just in everyday talk and speech, you can see the no, that's a different type of fallacy. So anyway, me and Larissa, Larissa's my 6th grader, she does this, and it's been a really good challenge. We like it, and I think there's another book after this, I believe. And so there's 38 lessons, so we do one lesson twice a week. So we do 2 lessons a week. So we'll get through this before the school year. And after that, I think we'll get the second book of this, because this is really good. She eventually wants to be a lawyer. I don't know. She's in 6th grade. So does any of us really end up being what we want to be when we're in 6th grade? Probably not. So will she do that? I don't know. But I figured let's just give her a little taste of what it is. And I think it's good regardless, whatever you're going to do. I think it's good to have this sort of information. Lola, my 2nd grader, she is doing the BJU Press reading program. It's really great. I really like it for her. I will say probably the readers are a little bit advanced. So if you have like a 2nd grader, they're not quite a strong reader, they may struggle a little bit. You might have to kind of help and go back and forth doing the reading. But the worksheets that it goes with is great. There's like, it's comprehension, but it's also phonics, and it's also, it's really comprehensive. I really am enjoying it, and she likes it too. So I will do a designated video on that too. I don't want to get too much into it here today. And then math is going well for everybody. I made a whole video on math, what my older two are doing, teaching textbooks, and then my younger daughter, hers hasn't changed. It's been the same. As far as morning time goes, this is one I really wrestled with, because I'm like, I have so many different resources and they're all amazing, and I truly want to get to all of them, and I feel like they are all truly important that I want to touch on, but you have to pick and choose sometimes, and you can't get to everything every year. You just can't do it. So I had to narrow it down. So we're just doing our poetry book, Where the Sidewalk Ends. We just read one a day. For our Bible, we're doing Apologias, Who Am I and What Am I Doing Here? It's like a biblical worldview book. We're liking that. That's good, giving good discussions. And then the third thing is we alternate between Laying Down the Rails, which is like a Charlotte Mason habit training book. It kind of just gives ideas and things to talking points for different habits that you can have in character traits. And then, so we alternate, we do that 2 days a week. And then the other 2 days we'll do, like, I'm doing emotions and feelings and things like that. So we're going through the American Girls feelings books right now. And that's been good to have discussions, because whether you're a person, you have children who have all the feelings, or people who you feel like, is there anything going on in there? Everybody has feelings and emotions, and it's really, really, really important to discuss that and have those conversations and get their wheels turning now as children, because they're going to be in relationships, working, friendships, romantic relationship, family dynamics. There's always going to be some sort of relationship going where they need to be able to deal with their emotions and at least recognize other people's emotions. And so that's been really going really well too. So those are the main things that we have been doing so far. Nothing too extreme that I can think of. We haven't like upended all of our curriculum. No, nothing like that. So nothing too extreme, just little subtle things here and there, but it's going so far so good. I hear the baby again. So I'm gonna run, but thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, I would love if you would give it a thumbs up, and I will talk to you soon. Bye guys, thanks for sticking to the end. I used to work for a company that delivers meals to seniors. I worked with someone who was not the quickest at their route, and so people would get frustrated at that it would take many hours to do the work that other people would do in like an hour. And so my window's open, I am facing the window, and my neighbor gets the service, and I just see this car coming down the street and going into the neighbor's driveway, and it is that person that just moves along at like turtle speed. And it's just distracting. I was in the middle of the video and I just had to stop to tell this story. Anyway, there was absolutely no point to that other than the fact that it completely threw off my train of thought. I was in the middle of speaking and it was all gone.